All right, listeners, buckle up, because today's deep dive is going to be a bit different.
Oh, how so?
We're going with something a little more, shall we say, whimsical.
All right, you've got my attention. I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
Today's source material is a children's story.
A children's story. Now, that's not something you hear every day. I'm game, though. Fire away.
The story is called Randolph the Possum Christmas Surprise, and let me tell you, it's a wild ride.
Just from that title alone, I can already tell it's going to be good. So, who is this Randolph character? What's so special about him?
Well, the story describes Randolph as this ugly, cute possum.
Ugly cute. Not exactly starting off with the strongest endorsement, are we?
Well, you know how it is. Sometimes those unconventional looks can be strangely endearing.
True enough. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as they say. But what else is there to this Randolph fellow? Surely there's more to him than meets the eye.
Oh, absolutely. He's got this big old glowing nose, for one thing.
A glow-in-the-dark nose. Sounds unique.
And a taste for the, interesting. Think mayonnaise and caramel sandwiches.
Mayonnaise and dot caramel. Okay, now that's just adventurous. You know, I'm starting to like this Randolph already.
But here's the thing. Underneath that, shall we say, acquired taste and that shining beacon of a nose, Randolph has a heart of gold. He's got this deep desire to be part of something bigger than himself, to do something truly meaningful.
The classic hero's yearning. A tale as old as time. We've all felt that pull, that need to contribute something significant to the world.
Exactly. But here's where things take a turn for the, well, unexpected. While Randolph is off dreaming of grand adventures, Santa's facing a crisis that throws Christmas into jeopardy.
Wait, hold on. What could possibly be so bad that it could derail the entire Christmas operation? Reindeer down with a cold. Sleigh out of commission.
Think less about logistical mishaps and more about bureaucratic nightmares. You see, there's this little-known rule buried deep within the North Pole regulations. During a non-leap year, reindeer are grounded. No flying, no leaping, no Christmas Eve deliveries.
A non-leap year? Grounding reindeer? You've got to be kidding me. What will they think of next? Talk about a bureaucratic nightmare. I mean, Santa must have some kind of backup plan for situations like this, right?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? I mean, he's had centuries to figure this out, right?
Yeah, you'd think. But no. No magical backup sleigh, no reserve reindeer team, no nothing.
So what does he do? Throw in the Santa hat. Call it a year.
Well, not quite. In a move that can only be described as very of the times, Santa turns to the internet.
The internet. You're kidding.
Nope. Santa takes to social media, puts out an SOS, crowdsources solutions for his reindeer dilemma. You can just imagine the responses he must have gotten.
Oh, I can only imagine. Let me guess. Lots of well-intentioned, but totally impractical ideas, right? Like flying squirrels with little parachutes.
You're on the right track. Think along those lines, but even more out there. Glow-in-the-dark bats, for instance.
Glow-in-the-dark bats. I mean, points for creativity, but logistically speaking.
Yeah, not exactly practical. And that wasn't all. There were suggestions for elephants, trunk space being the obvious limitation there, and even, get this, spray-painted skunks.
Okay, we're venturing into ecological disaster territory now. I'm really hoping that wasn't a serious contender.
Oh, no, not at all. Thankfully, common sense, or at least a fear of widespread olfactory offense, prevailed.
I should hope so. But amidst all that chaos, amidst the baddie and the smelly suggestions, there was one glimmer of hope. And it came from none other than our unconventional hero, Randolph the Possum.
Ah, yes, our mayonnaise and caramel-loving friend. What did Randolph propose? Some kind of elaborate possum-powered catapult system?
Nothing quite so outlandish. It's much more heartwarming than that. Randolph writes Santa this earnest, heartfelt letter, pouring out his desire to help.
That's our Randolph, always ready to lend a paw or a claw or whatever possums have.
And he's very upfront about his, shall we say, unique qualities. Acknowledges that he might not be much to look at, those glowing eyes and all.
And you know what? That honesty, that self-awareness, it's actually incredibly refreshing. No pretense, just genuine willingness to help.
Absolutely. And Santa, clever as he is, sees past the unconventional exterior and recognizes the potential in Randolph's unusual skill set.
Exactly. And perhaps more importantly, he recognizes the good heart beating beneath that furry little chest. Sometimes it's not about fitting the mold, but about having the courage to be yourself, even if you are a possum with a penchant for questionable snack.
Well said. So Santa has his unconventional hero, his heart of gold, his unique dietary preferences noted. What happens next? How does this ragtag crew of possums actually pull off a Christmas miracle?
Picture this. Randolph, along with a crew of equally eager possums, each more uniquely named than the last, set out on Christmas Eve.
Wait, hold on. Back up a bit. Santa recruited a whole team of possums. What were their names? I need details.
Well, there was Tater Masher, naturally a big fan of comfort food. And then there was Line Dancer, known for his fancy footwork. And of course, Glancer. Couldn't have a Christmas team without a Glancer, right? And last but not least, there was I'm a Fixin', always eager to lend a helping paw.
I love it. They sound like quite the crew. But how do they actually manage to deliver presents? Are we talking tiny parachutes, miniature sleighs?
Think stealth, not speed. These possums, with their remarkable night vision, they become Santa's secret weapon, gliding through the shadows.
Gliding through the shadows, huh? Sounds like something out of a spy movie, only with more marsupials and milk and cookies. But I'm picturing these possums, noses twitching, little paws clutching those presents, and I can't help but wonder, what about their appetites?
What about them?
Well, we've established that these possums aren't exactly known for their dietary restraint. Mayonnaise and caramel, remember? So are we talking about a trail of half-eaten candy canes and crumbs leading back to the North Pole? Did Santa factor that in?
That's the beauty of it, you see. Their love of snacks, their, shall we say, opportunistic palates, actually become an asset.
An asset? How so?
Think about it. These possums, they're not just navigating neighborhoods, they're practically little four-legged sanitation workers.
Hold on. Are you telling me that Randolph and his possum posse inadvertently saved Christmas and gave the sanitation department a much-needed holiday break?
It's a win-win. It's a beautiful illustration of how even the most unexpected qualities can have a positive impact. Who knew that a love for roadside snacks could be a force for good?
This is incredible. It's a children's story, but there's a powerful message here, isn't there?
Absolutely. It's about looking beyond appearances, about recognizing the value in those who might seem different, about embracing the unconventional.
It makes you wonder, what seemingly useless talents do we all possess that, if applied in the right way, could make a real difference?
Now, that's a question worth pondering, isn't it?
It really is. So, the next time you encounter someone or something that seems a bit out there, a little unconventional, remember Randolph the Possum.
Remember his glowing nose, his love for the, let's say, unique culinary combinations, and most importantly, his big heart.
And who knows, maybe that'll inspire you to embrace your own inner oddball, your own unusual talents. Because as we've learned today, even a possum with a penchant for mayonnaise and caramel can become a hero. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the heartwarming, hilarious, and surprisingly profound world of Randolph the Possum Christmas Surprise. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep an open mind, because you never know where you'll find inspiration.
It was the week before Christmas, and all through the hills, the possum were playing a game of Be Still with the greatest of skills. While at times they would stop and make faces that were strange, the ugliest of the bunch, Randolph, was never allowed to take part in any roadside games. They would say, "Oh my, look at Randolph, his nose is so wet. Is he rabid? Does he need to see a vet?" While Randolph just wept, what's an ugly little possum to do? He knew that what they were saying was simply not true. He knew that somehow his big moment would happen, and he would change his world that was so boring and blue. While most possum noses were wet and slimy, old Randolph was that, plus downright grimy. In the day it sparkled for all to see, but at night it glowed enough to light a big old tree. Yes, putting mud on it helped him to fit in, but everyone just laughed, and most just grinned. Randolph was at times a loner and quite shy, but his greatest wish was to be able to fly. Like Rudolph and the gang, life with so much excitement would never be the same. On this day, Randolph set out to play. He sat there and let his mind wander, hoping to dream of Santa so jolly in a land far, far away. His heart raced and his imagination soared. Perhaps Santa had plenty of food from a feast of much, of yucky stuff mixed together that other animals simply would not touch. But even hopes held high for change must give way to a downcast little possum whom everybody blames. The hours grew long, and the sweet dreams of Santa gave way to a wandering mind. Perhaps the goodness in Randolph's heart the world would soon find. Ah, the life of a possum. Meanwhile, many miles to the north, the fog began to spread in anticipation of Santa taking flight in his bright red sled. But there were rumors that perhaps there was a problem with the reindeer. Ah, the dread. Newspapers and TV stations from around the world began to speculate. Is Rudolph sick, or is it something more? In the end, it was something simple that would change the hand of fate and create an event never seen before. You see, Santa didn't check his calendar until the last moment, and without his glasses it was not clear it was a non-leap year. Everybody knows that reindeer are grounded during an official non-leap year. It's really quite strange, but perfectly clear. They simply cannot fly, let alone leap in delight. This created an amount of fear of a forfeit of Christmas night. Santa yelled in frustration, "I already have too much on my mind. We need help now. Let us make haste to find a solution without a moment to waste. I cannot be a human encyclopedia." But Mrs. Claus immediately came up with a solution. "Let us use social media." So Santa and the elves took to every social media site known to man in search of anyone who could give them a hand. Some solutions came in very quickly. There were volunteer bats with glow-in-the-dark hats. This sparked fear at its worst because they needed their shots first. There were elephants, but not enough space for their trunks, and an interest from skunks that were spray-painted pink, but it was determined that in the end it would raise quite a stink. When all seemed bleak, Santa came across a photo and a post from a possum named Randolph. "Dear Santa, my name is Randolph and I am a possum. I'm not much to look at, but then what possum is? I'm a good possum, and most of the time I keep my nose out of any mess, but I do like mayonnaise and caramel sandwiches best.